This is Messages from the Universe with Lori Wondra of Your Life Core. Here, Lori delivers information from the Mastery Realms related to astrology, planetary influences, energy surges, and generally how we are evolving. She connects with angels, guides, ascended masters, astro beings, and those that come forward with messages to help us on our journey. Welcome, everyone, to Messages from the Universe podcast.
Hello, I am Lori Wondra, and thank you for listening. I've been talking a lot about love lately, or should I say maybe I've been channeling a lot about love lately. That seems to be the topic that the teachers and the healers of the universe want to express right now. I thought they wanted to talk about peace and calm, but as I was connecting with them, I realized we really can't have peace and calm without coming from a center place of love. The pulsing of the heart and the vibration of the heart is shifting, and we're shifting with that. We can feel when we are misaligned. How and why you are opening your heart to love is also shifting. Your expression and desire to experience love is also shifting. That's the nature of where we are, the natural state of being in the energy of love and our natural state of evolution. Love is our core. It's a constant. We vibrate to the vibration of Mother Earth we believe to be her core, but we as humans and as a soul living in a human presence also has a resonance that we always come back to. And even as we evolve, so does our vibration and the understanding of all the emotions that lead up to and include love. We begin to recognize a deeper resonance with love, and we want to understand it. We allow the depth, the change, and the shift. And that's really what I'm feeling the universe is pushing us now, is that allowing and to be in that space of being vulnerable. The vibration of love is not just one dimension. It's not flat. So let's talk about what is the love frequency. Well, love frequency is the energy that flows within us and around us, and it's often described as the vibration of love that we emit. And love has been scientifically proven to carry a unique frequency of 528 hertz, and this is also known as the miracle frequency because it is the exact frequency used in DNA repairs. The more we align ourselves with this frequency, the more we experience a sense of well-being and inner peace and calm. Love frequency is not just limited to romantic love. It encompasses all forms of love, including self-love, love for family and friends, and even love for nature and the universe. It is a powerful force that can transform our lives and the world around us. It makes us feel aligned. It makes us feel we are in flow of our natural vibration. Now, there are different types of love. There are a number of theories that categorize the kinds of love we experience in our lives, and some that even stem as far back as ancient Greeks. Robert J. Sternberg is an American psychologist and psychometrician. That is someone that is an expert in measuring metrics and creating the metrics that we measure things, studies, tests. He's a professor of human development at Cornell University, and Sternberg is known for his theories on love, intelligence, and creativity, the theories that propose that all relationships are fundamentally based on three components that function as the 3 points of a relational triangle: intimacy, passion, and commitment. Now, intimacy, in his belief, is based on an emotional bond and a feeling of closeness and comfort. Passion includes sexual and physical attraction and that feeling of romance. And the third is commitment. That's the decision or choice to love another person and the efforts that someone is willing to do to maintain that relationship. Yes, love is a choice. Attraction is more like a magnetic force you can feel. When those fun butterfly feelings evolve into a warm sense of commitment and care for someone's needs, this is a sign of love developing. And in that stream of belief, there's 8 kinds of love that can occur based on varying levels of each key component. Each kind of love is different enough that you might find yourself maintaining relationships in several categories, but sometimes a single relationship will evolve over time, transitioning among the types along the way. So let's look at those 8 types. First, there's non-love. This type of love is a bit self-explanatory. In this type of connection, you're indifferent to the other person. There's no passion, no intimacy, no need for commitment. This person may be someone you see on the street, an acquaintance, or someone you know very casually. Then there's liking. This type of love is the basis for most friendships. In this category, you're high on intimacy, but there's no passion or commitment. In this type of love, you're more focused on the real close bond you share with someone else. So you strengthen that bond over similar qualities, similar interests or characteristics that you both share. Then there's infatuation, and that's high in passion, but without intimacy or commitment. This is what most people think of when they have a crush or experience love at first sight. They may not know someone on a deeper level, but you'll experience real physical changes like the feeling of butterflies in your stomach or a sense of anxiousness or a flush of desire whenever you see or think about the person you're attracted to. A lot of relationships start out this way, and if they're going to last, they'll turn into something more romantic. Then there's empty love. This is where you might be experiencing a high level of commitment, but you're without passion or intimacy. This is called empty love. Sometimes this can be the starting point in an arranged marriage or couples finding themselves experiencing this type of love if they're staying together, let's say for their kids or for financial stability. They want those things. It's not enough to leave the relationship, so they stay. Unfortunately, I think I see empty love most. This can feel like a real difficult place for people because they feel stuck. They want to build more intimacy or passion because it was there initially, but it's been shielded or cut off or lost along the path. Then there's romantic love. This type of love may encompass a few kinds of relationships, high in passion and intimacy, but without commitment. You may fall into this type if you're dating someone, but you're not quite exclusive. Friends with benefits fall into this category too, especially if you've known someone for a while and you have a very close bond. Maybe they've been burned in the past, or maybe they're divorced and afraid of recommitting. Maybe they feel a spark, but they're really unsure if this is someone they want to commit to. Then there's compassionate love. And I think at this stage, as an elevated form of liking, maybe you've been friends for years, maybe you're even best friends who rely on each other through thick and thin, with high levels of intimacy and commitment, but no passion. These are some of your deepest bonds that can often lead to a lifetime of connection. Then there's factious love. This type of love burns bright and fast. It's high in passion and commitment, but without intimacy. This is a swift-moving relationship that evolves from one stage to the next, moving quite quickly. Maybe you're comfortable moving in together or getting married much sooner than others. Sexual attraction is a huge drive for this kind of relationship, but perhaps you don't know each other on a deeper level than in other relationships. You feel a lot of sparks towards this person and you're committed, but all of a sudden you might start to realize there's no emotional connection. It's hard to get out of this relationship because you've already tied yourself into it. And sometimes when some relationships burn too bright, too fast, they burn out quickly, resulting in someone getting hurt. Consummate love. This is the kind of love that's top tier, the one all the movies, the books, the songs try to capture in one big swoop. The theory behind consummate love is that all relationships should try to achieve this type of love, but this is the most difficult love to achieve, because it requires a perfect balance among high levels of intimacy, passion, and commitment. This is the gold standard of relationships. There are a lot of expectations or feelings in how your relationships should be, but the reality of life is that it's hard to always find passionate with your partner, and sometimes it's a challenge to have the time to connect with your significant other. Regardless of where your relationship falls, it's important to recognize that while there's no wrong way to build a relationship, the kind of love you're searching for depends on the degree you work on in all three of those key components. And relationships that are based on a single element are less likely to survive and keep going than one that are based on two or more aspects. It's helpful to know which pieces are missing and which pieces you want to build up in your relationships. There's also stages of love, like how long does it take for someone to fall in love? And for some, that might take mere seconds, and for others, it could take years. If someone has had more positive experiences and knows exactly what they want, love can happen more quickly than someone who might have experienced hard breakups or trauma. There might be fear and other roadblocks that prevent them from fully embracing the concept of love. And this depends on how you as an individual, how you define love and the strength of your connection. Your history, your strength of your physical reactions can also dictate and decide the flow of how quickly or how slowly you fall in love. Some people call the first initial stage of infatuation love, and other people move toward the last stage of attachment, and that's when they put the label on love. I don't think there is one way and one right way. It's hard to even comprehend the description about these stages of love because we're all so different and we experience things differently. That's where we turn to the experts, those that study the human dynamics and the psychology and the emotional and the vibration of what happens to the human when they fall in love. Well, stage 1, falling in love. The attraction comes at you fast, and according to one study, it takes just 1/5 of a second for someone to know if they're attracted to someone. 1/5! That heady rush of dopamine brings on a flush of feelings, notably butterflies, intense longing, and fixation. In fact, some neurobiological studies indicate areas of the brain become increasingly more excited when someone sees the face of the person they love or are attracted to. Love starts in the brain, not in the heart. When people report being in love, they have a tsunami of activity in the brain. In this seeing someone and that 1/5 of a second attraction, that can also be past lifetime connection, a recognition that you recognize this soul. Often, we're attracted to someone that feels familiar. So if you happen to have a type, there's probably a reason for that. A type or a person or a soul you knew in a past lifetime. Or maybe it is that soul in that human form you're looking for. There's a lot happening unconsciously in terms of the pull towards someone, and it's usually because they're familiar in some way, whether it's their mannerisms, their demeanor, the presentation of who they are and how they face the world, or it's simply the vibration of the soul. However, this might be a short-lived stage. There's certain levels of excitement and drive associated with it just to kickstart us, to get us moving towards that vibration of love. But then it's up to us to take it further, and that's stage 2. That's getting to the good stuff. If the first stage of falling in love is about attraction, the second stage is all about removing the rose-colored glasses and really seeing the person that you're attracted to. It's normal to transplant expectations and desires on the person we're attracted to as an effort to fit the mold for that theatrical romance we've always dreamed about. But that often means you're overlooking who the person really is, and that might be some red flags. In the second stage, there is some disillusion. You really get to know who they are instead of who you want them to be. If you continue to bond and you like who you see, that's what moves you into the next phase. This is also a time where you get to see who you really are in a relationship, because there's parts of us too that we don't show until we're in a relationship. Sometimes love can be challenging. It fulfills a need in the moment that we're in, and then that need may eventually change over time. Sometimes you might find your needs are overlooked in exchange for prioritizing your partner's needs, which results in codependent relationships. But the biggest takeaway here is if someone doesn't love you on the same level you love them, that's okay. Move on. A lot of times people take it personally. Them not loving you has more to do with them than it does with you. Those that are most successful at love are those that can accept the other person for who they are without trying to change them. I know that sounds so easy, but it's a human factor that we're constantly trying to change our environment instead of looking at what might we need to change, and that might be our attitude or our perception. And this leads us into stage 3, creating an attachment. Over time, your dopamine levels tend to drop off, so the thrills of love and all that adrenaline you feel during initial attraction starts to settle down. As you further solidify your connection with your partner and create an attachment to them, your brain increases its level of oxytocin and vasopressin, which helps maintain that bonded feeling you have for longer periods of time. Those feelings of lust and that wild excitement of attraction mellows out and turns into feelings of connection. It goes from fireworks to feeling like you care about that person's needs and you're interested in their future and you invest in them. Once you're attached to someone, they play a pretty significant role in your life, even when you're participating in the smallest, mundane, everyday activities. You tend to grow together, partner up. It's becoming part of your team in this world. This is where I see threads, and I often talk about the weaving that we do with our energy fields. We start to feel that it's safe to connect, so we throw out or cast out an energy web, and we begin to weave together. And it's different than being corded or having cobweb-like energy on us. This is where two people, friends, lovers, those in relationship, whatever we want to call it, begin to connect energetically. When people talk about people from their past that they loved, they've been changed by it in some way that can never be undone. Those waves of energy, those webs, those cords that were there before have infiltrated and have become a part of your energy field. They still play a role in your memory and your care and actually in your energy field. And you can choose how you use or don't use that energetic tie. Now, science also tells us that there are love languages, and what we determine as our love language can affect how we navigate our relationships. A love language is simply a way to communicate very important concepts about how we feel loved. This idea poses that there are 5 main love languages in which we express love and want to be loved. And while you may find more meaningful experiences by expressing one of these love languages, your partner may find more meaning in others. And the reason I bring this up is knowing what those love languages are with those relationships around you. Not just those romantic partnerships and those relationships closer, but they're also helpful in friendships, work environments, in other ways. Now, words of affirmation is one. So if you have an employee that feels good with words of affirmation, then understanding that, sending a text or an email or just saying, hey, I really appreciate the work you did on this project. Thank you. Acts of service is another. It's about picking up responsibility. And that can be in small and meaningful ways. Maybe your partner doesn't like doing a certain chore, so you can pick it up for them. And again, we can apply that across all relationships in our life. Third is quality of time. If your partner loves new experiences and date nights, or maybe it's a friendship that just wants to hang out and spend time with you, it can be just sitting and watching the same movie, but it's time with you. Those are quality time and examples of focusing on how do you give someone quality of your time. Another is gift giving. Roses, jewelry, small tokens of your affection, even a thank you note can be a small gift. And it can be pretty straightforward and easy. Not everybody appreciates gift giving. So because you might like receiving surprises does not mean others around you also feel the same feeling of receiving. And lastly, physical touch. And this could be simple holding hands, cuddling, a kiss, or a hug. Now, physical touch is high on your partner's list, then intimacy or sexual intimacy may also rank very high in the priorities. Now, I understand, like in the workplace or with family members, physical touch may not or is not appropriate. So be aware of your boundaries in those situations. We tend to attract friendships that are aligned in those areas, but sometimes closer relationships, we have opposites or things that we don't take into account as to what that person's love language is. And my thought today is just to be aware of that. There is science behind the love frequency. Scientists have discovered that everything in the universe vibrates at a specific frequency, including our bodies and our emotions. And this frequency is measured in hertz, and it's responsible for the physical, mental, and emotional state of our being. When our love frequency, 528, is low, we experience feelings of stress, anxiety, even depression. In contrast, when our frequency is high, we become more relaxed, peaceful, joyful. We feel aligned. And studies have shown that exposure to love frequencies can have a positive impact on our physical health. It can lower blood pressure and reduce stress, and even boost our immune system. This is because love frequency has a calming effect on our nervous system, which in turn promotes healing and well-being. I would further state that's our natural state of being, so we don't have to fight so hard to be in our natural state. When we're not in our natural vibration, we're constantly fighting and stressing and navigating to try to get back to that natural vibration of love. Love frequency can change the way we think, how we feel, how we act. When we are vibrating at a high frequency, we are open to receiving positive energy and experiences. It's easier for the universe to speak to us. It's easier for us to get messages from the universe. It's easier for us to take action on our journey plan. Our thoughts become more focused and clearer. We become more creative, more productive, and certainly more joyful. On the other hand, when our frequency is low, we are more prone to negativity, to self-doubt, and illness. And by consciously raising our love frequency, we can attract more love and more abundance in our lives. This can be achieved through practices such as meditation, gratitude statements or gratitude journals, acts of kindness, sound healing, singing, vibration plates, being outside in nature. And when we radiate love and positivity, we create a ripple effect that can impact those around us and even the world at large. Love frequency is a reminder that we are all connected and that love is the most powerful force in the universe. By embracing this frequency, we can transform our lives and the world around us. We transmute the energy from a lower frequency into a higher frequency, and that's just good for all of us. Love is a powerful force that can transform our lives in countless ways. When we operate from a place of love, we feel more connected to ourselves, to others, and the world around us. However, sometimes we might find ourselves feeling disconnected or blocked from experiencing love in its fullest. This is where raising our love frequency comes in. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Do you have a practice that raises your love frequency? Do you know where your love frequency is in the morning? Do you know where that starting point is? Because if you wake up and you purposely put yourself into a higher vibration, it's just easier throughout the day. But if you wake up and you start at a deficit, you're constantly fighting to get back up to a frequency that's more in line with you. This is about identifying and removing any emotional blocks. Emotional blocks are common barriers to experiencing love at its purest form. These blocks can be caused by a variety of factors, such as childhood traumas, negative experiences, unhealthy beliefs, unhealthy practices that we carry within ourselves. So to raise your love frequency, needing to identify and remove these blocks is a must, and that takes work. One effective way to do this is through therapy. By working with trained professionals, you can uncover and process the root causes of your emotional blocks. Another way is through journaling, which can help you become more aware of your thoughts and your emotions. Mindfulness exercises, and I'm noticing mindfulness is all over right now as the universe is pushing us to be more aware and observant as to how we are in the world. We can become more mindful by being meditating, having practices such as yoga, walking, having things that we can do to help release these blockages by bringing us into the present moment. And by releasing these blockages, we make space for love to flow freely into our lives. We become more open to giving and receiving love, more aware of how we give and how we receive and how others give and receive love. In this way, we can experience deeper connections with ourselves and certainly others. You will find that when you become more aware of your love language and how you experience and express love, you will attract or find those people in that same vibrational level. This is cultivating self-love and compassion, and then introducing that out into the world. Self-love and compassion are essential elements for raising our love frequency. When we love and accept ourselves, we open our hearts to receive love from others. How can we love others when we find it difficult to love ourselves? This can be challenging, especially if we have negative self-talk or beliefs about ourselves. And I would say you can give love to others and not love yourself, but it's not pure and it's not from your core. So work on loving yourself. And one way to cultivate self-love is by treating yourself kindly. This can mean taking care of your physical health, eating well, sleeping well, drinking enough water, getting exercise, laughing, getting rest. Those are all healthy practices, allowing yourself to set healthy boundaries and practicing self-care. Take care of yourself first before you give love out to others. I know sometimes it's more fun to give out love, but you run the risk of depleting your bucket of love. We can also focus on our strengths instead of our weaknesses and practice positive affirmations. Gratitude journals are also really good in this. When we cultivate self-love, we become more loving and compassionate also towards others. We can see the good in ourselves. We can certainly see the good in others. We're better able to empathize with their struggles and offer support and encouragement. Whatever struggle, whatever self-judgment you have, there is someone in your radius that is also experiencing that same struggle. It's just how the universe functions. But when you cultivate self-love and you are compassionate towards yourself, you will find that those around you will also be compassionate towards you, and you'll have a better understanding of all vibrations. It creates a positive feedback loop where the more love we give, the more love we receive. This also helps us strengthen relationships with others. Relationships are essential to our well-being and our love frequency. However, sometimes our relationships may become strained or disconnected. This is a disruption in the energy flow. Those threads that I talked about earlier, those cords or those weavings that we have, those can become disconnected or unhealthy. And to strengthen our connections with others, we need to practice empathy, we need to practice forgiveness and understanding. And understand that that human that you're looking at is probably doing the best that they can today. One way to do this, to help, is active listening. When we listen to others with an open mind and heart, we create space for them to feel heard and understood. All of us have been in situations where we're frustrated because no one is listening or we feel unheard. It's a good practice for honest communication when we express our own needs and feelings, but we also get to learn to respect the needs and feelings of others. So spending quality time with loved ones is another way to strengthen our relationships. And this can mean having meaningful conversations, engaging in shared activities, or simply being present with each other. When we surround ourselves with positive relationships, we raise our love frequency and invite abundance into our lives. We experience deeper connections with others and a greater sense of belonging in the world. Love can encapsulate a wide array of emotions and experiences. It is a central force in human life that influences how individuals relate to themselves and to their world. When we embrace the love frequency, when we're curious about what is love and what variation or what level or how am I expressing love, we improve our mental and our emotional well-being. Love helps us reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. It promotes more positive emotions like joy, gratitude, and forgiveness. When we vibrate at a higher frequency, we become more resilient and adaptable to life's challenges, and we approach them with a positive attitude. I believe that the angels and guides are asking me to talk more about love because we need this higher vibration of positive attitude right now. Love frequency also enhances our connection and our communication with others. And so many of us have stopped communicating out to others. And when we raise our love frequency, we become more open, compassionate, and empathetic towards others. We want those connections. We become better listeners, better communicators, better problem solvers, better human beings. And this all leads to more meaningful and fulfilling relationships with others. Finally, embracing love frequency helps us develop greater resiliency and inner strength. By focusing on love and positivity, we become more resilient to adversity and more self-confident in our abilities. That external noise, the chaos that might be happening around us, doesn't necessarily exist to permeate our internal flow of love. We can overcome obstacles with ease and grace, and we develop a greater sense of purpose and a direction in life, and we contribute to humanity in the vibration of love that ultimately raises the overall expression of humanity. We can never have too much love, and humanity always needs more love. So that means the universe is calling on us to give more love, to express more love, raise our vibrations to the frequency of love so we can give more pure love. Being aware of our heart, the heart center of the universe, our higher heart, and more. But how do we get there? What is a foundational step to help us love a more love-filled life? Well, remember, love is a choice. It requires focus, understanding, curiosity, and practice. Be intentful in how you give and how you express love. And don't be afraid to explore how you experience love. And know there's science behind it. I'm Lori Wondra of Your Life Core, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Messages from the Universe podcast with Lori Wondra of Your Life Core. For current events or to schedule a private session with Lori, please visit yourlifecore.com.